Using cannabis didn't become a crime in New Zealand until the 1920s. Before that, it was widely used for medicinal purposes. Mother Aubert, the Catholic nun set to become New Zealand's first saint, grew cannabis for her well-known medicines at the turn of the 19th century, and some people are still using it.
Cannabis is very important to me.
35 years ago, Billy McKee was run down by a drunk driver and ended up having his lower leg amputated. Today he fights nagging pain, pressure sores and sleeplessness, and his only relief is cannabis.
I smoke it. I don't smoke a lot of it, I do smoke cannabis every day. And if I've got enough of it, I put some in my hot water and have it like as a tea. If I've been walking on my amputated leg, on my stump, it gets really, really sore. Even a short period of time walking on it, it gets really sore, it's like a toothache. And it throbs, it goes into spasms, it puts the whole body into spasms, just from one little nerve damage. So if I have been walking on my artificial leg and it's sore, I put a poultice, a cannabis poultice on my damaged nerves, if I've got enough.
Cannabis does actually work as a pain suppressant. The active ingredients THC and CBD can get someone high, but can also ease pain, spasms and inflammation. Recent research suggests cannabis may even have antipsychotic effects.
Without cannabis, I actually get really, really depressed, and I get that depressed, I will actually finish up committing suicide. So cannabis is essential to me. I can get medicine from the doctors, but the medicine from the doctors cause me lots of side effects that are really unlivable with. I can't live with them as well. So the only medicine that actually works for me is cannabis.
Unfortunately for Billy and other people using cannabis as a medicine, under present laws they're actually committing a crime.
It's a really hard spot. The police are going to put us in jail and take away our homes and our support and their livelihoods, and so it's put us in a very, very difficult position.
And if Dawn's case is anything to go by, people do have reason to fear being prosecuted for medicinal use of cannabis.
I have been punished very severely. You know, I don't feel like a criminal.
So if cannabis has medicinal uses, why did we stop using it in that way and make it illegal? When recreational use of the drug blossomed in the 50s and 60s, governments around the world reacted by cracking down, and medical users were ignored.
I feel very angry that the current cannabis laws have this perverse effect of denying access of medicinal cannabis to people who need it. I think it's cruel, it's unnecessary.
In recent years, medicinal cannabis schemes have started to appear around the world. At least 8 countries, including 14 states in the USA, recognise what's called MedPop. In California, patients with a doctor's prescription can go to clinics and buy the drug. It's the sort of system Billy McKee is desperate for here. He believes doctors should be able to prescribe cannabis and patients should be able to grow their own medicine. He runs a local network of medicinal users and growers called Green Cross, but they currently operate in fear of prosecution.
A lot of the people at Green Cross are old, elderly people, and especially elderly ladies and stuff like that. They just can't go chucking off down to the local house and teddy house and get some cannabis. A lot of them can't even walk. So they have a real struggle. And these are the people that, medicinal cannabis, there shouldn't be a problem for them.
Theoretically, these people shouldn't fear prosecution because our laws have an exemption for medicinal use.
It's actually in the law, in the Misuse of Drugs Act, that the doctors can prescribe it. So doctors prescribe it, and then we join up to Green Cross, then that's actually complying with the law. So, we shouldn't be having such a battle getting the only medicine that works for us. It shouldn't be such a battle, but it really is a struggle for a lot of people.
It may be legal, but no Minister of Health has ever granted the exemption Billy is asking for. The Ministry of Health argues patients would be at risk from smoking, possible contaminants, and lack of control over dose and potency. It says people can apply to use a pharmaceutical mouth spray made from cannabis called Sativex to treat serious symptoms associated with AIDS and multiple sclerosis. But Sativex costs more than $500 a bottle.
Sativex, to me, it's not really sustainable. Who can afford to pay for that?
The Ministry of Health may oppose a medicinal cannabis scheme, but the New Zealand Medical Association has shown conditional support. And the Law Commission recommends not only conducting clinical trials into medical marijuana, but also not prosecuting medical users while those trials are taking place. Putting aside the medicinal benefit versus health problems argument, what other reasons are there for keeping cannabis illegal? One of the main thrusts to the prohibitionist argument is any relaxing of cannabis controls will boost organised crime, the gangs.
I think that's scaremongering. I think that's buying into the sensationalism that mainstream media has about gangs, because everyone's bought into the fact that gangs are involved with drugs and gangs are bad. There's probably more people that aren't associated with gangs involved in cannabis than there are within the gangs.
While it's no secret gangs are involved in large-scale cannabis cultivation and dealing, there is some truth to Eugene Ryder's claim. A 2007 police report estimated only 1/3 of our cannabis industry is controlled by organised crime groups, and reported that 80% of all seizures involve less than 20 plants. Lawyer Tony Gregg defends numerous people facing charges of cultivation and supply.
Cannabis production has become quite a cottage industry. I get a lot of young couples just starting with young children who are growing some plants in the garage. And they're doing this to get a few bucks and to get ahead and to get their first house and to help them raising a family, and they're otherwise not criminals. And again, I can't help feeling that the whole illegality of cannabis is what is turning these young people into taking quite a risk, because if they're caught, they go to prison.
If taking a hard line isn't the solution to controlling cannabis, what is? After the break, do we follow the lead of some other countries?
They have reduced drug crime, maybe by a half. It's been a win-win-win.